Hi everyone, welcome. This is Gem 314 Tarot. I hope I find everyone well. Thank you for returning, and hello if you are new. I woke up with a song in my head this morning. As I usually do, I do wake up with music in my head very, very often, but usually during the day it dissipates or is replaced with something else, or I just, kind of forget. But this time it stuck with me, and it was T-Pain's version of I Don't Wanna Be by Gavin DeGraw when T-Pain was on Masked Singer, spoiler. And the part that keeps looping is the where he says, part of where I'm going is knowing where I'm coming from. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking round rooms, wondering what I gotta do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me. I don't wanna be. And it keeps going, and I'll link it in the description. I really love his version. It kind of brings in like a minor key in the chorus at some points, and I really like that. The point is, there's a feeling in the collective of identity crisis. Like, I don't know, I know what I want to be, I know who I am, but I don't know if I should be what I want to be. Things like that, right? And it occurred to me that there are a lot of us in the collective who are dealing with Aries, Chiron and Aries placements. And coincidentally, Chiron is in Aries presently, and that is a real feeling of identity crisis. So Chiron, briefly, is a wounding to a specific area, okay? Those of us with Chiron and Aries deal with a wounding that cannot heal, that is in the self confidence, self esteem, self empowerment, things like that, things that Aries takes care of. There's also some health concerns there because Aries is very vital, the first spark of life. It's a fire sign, it's active. So there is like a deficiency in our ability to really tap into that fiery part of ourselves that is, how can I put it? Like, I mean, there's a confidence problem, yes, but it's also like sticking up for ourselves, defending ourselves, being protective of ourselves, things like that. There's a group in the 70s. Let's see, I think it goes 2.5 years or so for every sign, maybe three, and there's 12 signs. So, like every 30 years or so, a group comes out with Chiron and Aries. I know there was one for us in the 70s. I was born in 74, so there's a group around 74 where we've got Chiron and Aries. There's also a group in the 90s that has Chiron and Aries. Those are, I think, the Gen Z millennials. Not, no, no, they're Gen Z because millennials were born in the 80s and then like came of age right around the turn of the century, and then the kids born in the 90s, I think, are Gen Z. And then now here in 2024, we have Chiron and Aries again. So there is a group of us, and apparently Spirit wants me to address us because I woke up with that song in my head today. So let's go ahead and look at what our reading is showing us. I laid out the 3 Lenormand cards for the heart of the matter, and we got the anchor, the fish, and the woman. So anchor means where we are settled, where we call home. It's our home base, our safe harbor, where we ground ourselves and find security. Now, we also have the fish, and the fish has really been coming out heavy lately with the Animal Wisdom deck dropping the 9 of Shells, which is the salmon. And if you look on this Lenormand card, it is the salmon that are the fish that drop this time. This is the only fish card, I believe, in the deck. And they are again going uphill. They are going upriver, which is the theme that has been coming out with the salmon card lately. Trying to go upriver, trying to go up something to return home. And that's where the anchor comes in. That is the home base we're returning to. So now we have the woman. It's a feminine energy. It's a mother energy, a wife, a friend, family members. It's also all receptive feminine traits. It's intuition, it's caring, it's creativity, it's warmth and gentility, it's protection and nurturing, it's industriousness, intelligence, and generosity. So I feel like some of us in the collective are trying really hard to reconnect with um, where our hearts came from. Okay, that's been a real motif, a real theme running lately in the collective. So I feel like there's some of us in the collective that are just trying to get back to where we felt safe, where we felt nurtured, seen, taken care of, accepted, provided for, supported, things like that. Also, this could definitely be some in the collective who are trying to go back home to a loved one, whether it's some it's some feminine that meant a lot to us, right? It could be a mother, it could be love, it could be a lover, it could be um, a wife, a friend, could just like anything that made us feel protected and nurtured. That's at the heart here of the matter. There's a returning to a desire to return to, okay, because the way they fell out was the anchor first. So it's like we're remembering that safe harbor, that grounding place that we had, our security, our home base, our settlement, right? Where our heart is settled. But then with the fish energy here going upstream, going back to those spawning grounds, like I have been saying the last few readings, when salmon comes up with the 9 of shells, it's returning to the place where you began, right? They began at that spawning place. Now, with salmon, um, it is like a renewable abundance. It is success, it's flow, and it's a reward like gains, because that's what fish represent. But to me lately, the symbolism of the fish trying to struggle back upstream from the ocean, from living their life, they grew, they changed, they lived out in the ocean, and now they're returning back upriver to where they began. Okay, this also to me has connotations of returning to something that we knew from a past life, because for salmon, they will spawn in the same grounds that they always spawn, but it's a different generation. Okay, it is genetically imprinted in them to remember which stream they came from. Okay, but when they spawn and go back out to sea, and then they come back and they mate, they don't go back out to sea. They actually die with after that part of the cycle. And that's when they kind of return to the ecosystem. Like they decay, you know, their decaying remains feed the rest of the ecosystem, and the bears catch them on the way, and that's where we get a lot of salmon caviar. I mean, it's just part of the cycle, right? But the ones that return to the ocean are the ones that hatch new. So it's not like they spend lifetimes going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Every time they come back from the ocean, it's a new generation. So I feel like the fact that they know which river to go up to get back to where they began, it's genetically in their DNA. And for us to look at that spiritually, there is something in us that is making us return to where we began spiritually. And it all leads back to this woman card. Okay? That's why I feel like some in the collective may be spiritually wanting, longing, trying to figure out how or why they're so drawn to go back to nurturing feminine energy that they knew before. Okay. The reason that I also think this is love is it just sticks out to me with the anchor here. If you can look at the card, the way the anchor is laid against those two rocks, it really does look like a heart. Okay. So to me, it feels like where your heart is anchored. And then there's the energy of wanting to return to that settled home place that we began. And what is there but a woman that we left behind? Okay. This could be for if there's any masculines in the collective watching now, this might be your heart wanting to return to a love that you experienced in another life, or you just want to return to the familiarity of home. Okay, so here in the scene energy, at the top part here, we've got a lot of very heavy kind of themes going on. First, we dropped the owl, which was the hermit card, keeper of the light. And then we dropped the cat, which is the high priestess, knower of secrets. And then again, we've got Spider, the Wheel of Fortune, in the same position that we had for the reading last night. Was that just a collective? I think that was just a collective reading. So, Spinner, the secret spinner, the Wheel of Fortune is in the same position here in the scene energy. So we are still actively dealing with this energy of the turning of the cycles. Okay. Divine timing, I'm sorry, divine timing. This is the turning of the celestial wheel, whether we like it or not. That's why it's a major arcana. Major arcana, all of these in the top row are major arcana, meaning this is energy we have no control over. This is the way it's happening, and we've got to hang on and sign of the cross and pray for dear life that we just make it through. Okay, so we've got hermit energy. This is technically Virgo energy, the keeper of the light, meaning so it's owl energy. I do like owl. He appeared last night, I believe, twice with the shaman card as his headdress, and in the Nine of Swords, where the woman is up late at night talking to an owl. We have owl again, keeper of the light. I heard I keep your secrets, but you have to work them out. Okay, this is Virgo energy. Virgo's very internal. They kind of keep their thoughts to themselves. They keep a lot of things to themselves. This is the energy of going inward in order to gain a larger perspective, a higher perspective. Owl's very high. This is the opposite of the Hanged Man card, which is Pisces energy, where they voluntarily go inward to gain inner perspective. The Hermit goes inward to gain outer perspective, a larger perspective. Next to that, we drop the High Priestess in the cat, the knower of secrets. I always think she's got the receipts because she protects a scroll of wisdom. But in the Rider-Waite deck, the High Priestess scroll to me reminds me of like a CVS receipt where it's small, but if you unroll it, it's got all kinds of information on it and it never ends. So to me, the High Priestess keeps the receipts. Okay, so hermit energy with the owl is solitude, introspection, and retreat. It is getting to know the inner self, and inner counsel. Okay, it's basically know thyself. That's what it is. It's be grounded and dedicated. The key to this card is you may have to walk alone for a bit. Sorry about the microwave. You may have to walk alone for a bit. That's you got to look for inner guidance. Okay, so again, remember I was saying we were having this problem with Chiron and Aries, and here's a feeling of wanting to go home or wanting to go back to a place where we just feel nurtured. I feel like in this journey we're gonna have to really travel by ourselves for a little bit, which is, I just noticed here with the anchor card. I used the Tarot of the Divine, and we also dropped the Hermit again. So, again, anchoring this whole thing is the idea of having to do this alone. Okay? High Priestess with the cat. She says to pay attention to the inner visions and your inner shadow. Both of these cards look like they are in nighttime, okay? And both of them look like they're at different phases of the moon, which is interesting because Luna fell out. The moon card fell out with the theme deck. So this is different phases of the moon. I don't know if you can see them here, right there above the cat's head and above the hermit, the owl here. So it feels like in between these two phases is when we are going to be dealing with this internal struggle. Okay. This also gives me the suggestion that we really need to start paying attention to our dreams and our inner voice, our intuition. These are things that, represented by the night and the moon, are things that are absolutely there. They exist, they are real, but they are shrouded when the sun is out. The sun is the ego. The sun is the energy that we show other people. It's what we want to be seen, but it's not necessarily the truth or the whole truth. We always have to remember that the moon rules things that the ego keeps blotted out because of its brightness, okay? But it is still an integral part of who we are, and we have to address and deal with it and acknowledge those things. That's why moon energy is so important. Because now, even with these two moon cards right next to it, with the Wheel of Fortune, the sacred spinner, she is enlightened with the sun. And I do kind of, I did make mention of this before. I don't know why the artist chose to do this, but I do see the symbolism here. The thing that is watching the spider spin is the cat. And here we have the cat with the high priestess. So she is definitely trying to enlighten us to the things that divine timing is spinning for us. Okay? And if we feel lost or if we feel like we don't know what those things are, we have to go inside and listen to our higher selves. So the cat, she also says, moonlight, emotions, hidden worlds, knowledge, intuition, awareness, silence, in the nighttime, and psychic abilities. This says, walk quietly and see the hidden. Cats walk almost silently. Some. I don't know. When mine gets the zoomies, she sounds like a herd of elephants. So not all the cats don't move silently all the time, but they do when it counts. And here she is in the next card, not in the night. So it's really interesting if you look at it this way. Look at this nighttime scene. You've got the owl. You've got the owl as the hermit and the cat under the moon together at night, discussing hidden things, understanding, intuitive things, psychic psychic hits and dreams, things like that. And so here's the cat in the nighttime, but here she is in the daylight observing the spider on the wheel. Okay, now maybe we feel like we're the spider on the wheel and we're just along for the fucking ride as the divine turns the time, but the spider is there because she is weaving our future. She's weaving the destiny. She's weaving fate as the wheel spins. Okay, it says here, this is fate, karma, timing. It says, weave your fate as the universe guides you towards it. That's what the card says. Shifting fortune. Adjust your path. Work with the flow. Okay? The key to this card is to create your path. Create your path to create your fate. Okay, so this first row is kind of feeling like we feel like we're out of control because things are happening around us that we can't influence. Okay, but it's trying to tell us we must use our intuition, we must use those hidden knowledge. Okay, like I said, the underlying things that the daylight doesn't want us to see, we've been told to push those things down because they're fake. Okay, because so many times we are trained to only trust what our eyes can see, and anything else is just imagination. Yes, it is imagination, but that doesn't mean it doesn't influence reality, and it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, and the people who can meld the two, that make them agree and work together in tandem in the in between, can walk a more balanced path. And when we realize that there are intuitive things in the nighttime, in that hidden part of ourselves, the moon, it represents Cancer and Pisces energy. Those are very deeply intuitive signs, okay? Those are parts of the watery depths that many creatures can't function in. They're not equipped or evolved to dwell in those waters. But if we learn how to do that, then we can pull that intuition from the deep and actually use it to weave, like the spinner is saying, weave our own destiny along with the flow, not against it. Okay, I do really love the symbolism of the cat coming out of the dark, out from under the moon, out from under, you know, the the darkness of night. She has trudged through those things in order to bring wisdom out into the daylight. And here she is observing and conversating with the spider. And the spider can use that intuition to weave the tapestry of a new fate. Okay, like I said, these were deep things coming out lately. Okay, um, let's see. Now, to clarify, I laid out the Tarot of the Divine. These are the cards that are from mythology and folklore from around the world. And we got some interesting ones. Here on top of the Hermit, the owl, we dropped Death. Um, this is a story, it's based on a Norwegian story, The White Bear King. And it's basically he marries a princess in the form of a bear. Okay, and she can't see him or look at him. It's one of those things where the mate has a form that the spouse can't see. Now, if you remember the Three of Swords, which is the crane wife, same thing. She was an animal at night, and she made her husband promise not to look at her, but he did, and it broke their contract. And it did not break her spell, but it broke the trust, and she had to leave. Same thing with this story. She marries a bear, and she doesn't know that he's a prince, and the spell would have been broken if she hadn't taken a peek at night, right? And so in this card, she's pulling at the curtain, and once she breaks the trust, the spell. See, no, it's not that the spell is broken, because it isn't. Had she trusted the spouse and the commands of the contract, the spell would have been broken. But because they don't, both of these stories, they don't trust the contract, and they go behind the whatever, and they jump the gun, or they do something that negates the contract but doesn't break either of them out of the spell. I don't know. It's, something that, but this is death. So there is an ending, a transition. Once she pulls back that sheet, there's no going back. This story also represents a moving on from childhood. Um, at first I thought it was because, marital bed things happen when you marry somebody, and that maybe that's the transition that she couldn't come back from. But no, it's the decision to betray the contract. Once you pull back that curtain, there's no going back. Okay, that's what it was. So having this card of transition on top of the hermit energy of going inward, um, there could be some kind of, your inner guidance is going to help you put an end to something. Okay. There's also a feeling of, once you make this decision, there's no going back. um that's emotionally. There's always a choice. There's always a choice of what you will physically do. But I feel like once this inner insight is acknowledged, there's no going back. There's transformation of your psyche that happens. There's no putting this back to bed, right? Next to this, on the High Priestess, the knower of secrets, we dropped again the Five of Cups, which is La Llorona. She's mourning something that, through betrayal, again, betrayal, she either allowed her children to die or caused her children to die. And now she's mourning the loss. Again, under the moon. So if you look at this, this is incredible. Okay? You've got the owl as the hermit with the crescent moon. You've got, sorry, this turned around. La Llorona under the full moon. And then the cat. Oh, wait, this is backwards. Sorry. Bear with me. It's really cool. And I'm very visual, and I know that there are others in the collective who understand things very symbolically, with very visual. Okay, look at that. Crescent moon, full moon, crescent moon. Okay, and she's mourning loss in between. So I feel like, let me think here. Death. So death, grief, and regret. This High Priestess cat energy, I feel like, oh, she's also silent. She doesn't share what she's intuiting. She doesn't share what she finds out. She's very silent. The High Priestess is silent about it. She knows what she knows, and she doesn't have to explain how she knows what she knows. She just knows it. And then that there's a silence to that. But on top of that, now we've got the Five of Cups. There is regret here, a horrible grief of maybe having caused some kind of loss or endured some kind of loss, right? Um, the key is that there is Two of Cups behind her. Now, in some instances, whoever this is resonating for, you may be mourning something that you thought was a loss while ignoring the fact that you have love behind you. In other cases, I interpret this as mourning something that you couldn't help but lose, but you did it because you were protecting this Two of Cups behind you, okay? If we look at it that way, you're mourning the loss of a Three of Cups. And what are the Three of Cups? It was a support system. It was the celebration after a Two of Cups, right? If you think about it, you've got the Ace of Cups, which is the offer. Then you got the Two of Cups, which is two love interests coming together. The Three of Cups is celebrating that coming together with friends and family and the community. And this is the honeymoon phase, right? The Four of Cups is apathy after the honeymoon phase starts wearing off. The Five of Cups is regretting having to let something go, okay? But you're protecting or forgetting about, you still have that love behind you, okay? Now, here on the Wheel of Fortune, the spider, we dropped the 10 of coins, okay? I love this. You're spinning a future of beautiful, what's the Ten of Coins? I mean, it's stability for generations, right? We have here in the anchor position the Six of Fossils, which is gorilla energy, Six of Coins. This is equal distribution of provisions for a small group. It's you, your spouse, you, your partner, you, someone else, and your cat. Right? Three people here are taken care of equally. This is bills are paid. Everyone's got new shoes. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. Everything is comfortable, but it's for a smaller group. Ten of coins is stability for many and for a long time. This myth is a Chinese myth called Panhu. It's about a dog, and it was the king's dog. And he said the king was going to war, and he promised anyone one of his daughter's hand in marriage to anyone who would bring him the head of his enemy, right? Well, it turns out his faithful dog returned the head of his enemy. And to get around the weird, the what is it? I can't remember the word. But it would have been wrong, right? To give your daughter to a dog. So to get around this, they did a spell on the dog, and he had to stay under this huge dome that was like a bell. He had to stay covered for like 280 days. I don't know why so specific, but the point being, on the 279th day, the king couldn't take it anymore, and he had to lift it up so he could look at the dog, and his transformation was incomplete, and he stayed with the dog head, but he was accepted by the daughter, and he was almost a man, and they had a bunch of kids, and everybody lived happily ever after. However, this is the second story in this row where somebody lifted the veil or lifted the pot or pulled back the curtain before it was time to do so. So this is the second card saying there's consequences if you jump the gun. Okay, you have to have faith, and having that fall on the wheel of fortune, the spinning spider, it's like, yeah, it's taking a minute, but you have to have faith. And remember, I was saying that I was inspired to do this because of the Chiron in Aries. Aries is not a very patient sign. It's Libra's opposite for a reason. We're not patient either, because it takes us so fucking long to make a decision that we think, Spirit, I have been trying to make this decision for 2 years. You should have been prepared for when I made it. Why isn't this happening yet? And Aries, it's just like, oh, that's what I want? Okay, gimme, right? But Libra is like, I took forever to get here. Why isn't it done yet? That's our look at it, right? So this is the second card in this row, saying that if you pull the curtain back before the time is right, there will be consequences, okay? For the death card, the story about this, the white bear king, she had to go on this whole big thing in order to get her man back, right? If she had just waited for the spell to wear off, she would have had it. But the problem with that is that there wasn't the honesty from the spouse. She just had to, I mean, there wasn't even an explanation, right? It was just, oh, you looked and you weren't supposed to, and now you have consequences. And it's like, well, I didn't even fucking know that I was part of this weird storyline. You could have just told me. But no, we were supposed to walk. It's like, how do you expect me to walk a path I don't even know I'm on? That's the frustration. So the ten of coins card, the Panhu story. Let me remember. yeah, it was just a good, it was a reward, but he kind of got slighted because the king couldn't wait. He lifted the bell, and he's now stuck, he's stuck with a dog's head. But he at least has generations of grateful, generations of gratitude. That's what I heard. I couldn't figure out how to say that. The kids are grateful. The king is grateful. He has riches. He has family. They never want for anything after that. I mean, he was, the king's war companion. So now he's being rewarded. But it was the king that fucked him up after that. But I feel like if we lift the lid, and I'm reminded of a friend of mine that we had a running gag about lifting the lid off the pot of rice. And if you lift the lid before the cycle is done, there's going to be consequences. I feel like that's what this row in the scene energy is. And then we're gonna be mourning it because, oh fuck, I just kicked over these 3 cups, or I killed something I wasn't supposed to, or something that was in my care. Like La Llorona, her children were in her care, and because she was betrayed, she either allowed them to die or killed them, or whatever. It's different in different, from different regions in the Hispanic culture. But it's this mother figure who failed to protect her children. So there is death here. Once you pull that curtain, there's no going back. There's a transition. There's going to be mourning and grief because of that. It's going to feel like, because with pulling back the curtain, there's always a feeling of, oh shit, had I known, I wouldn't have pulled it. So now there's regret, and there's you're set on a path that you can't go back from. That's what the Five of Cups is. And then, but if we can allow the wheel to come back around, we can weave, while we're going through this, we can weave the fate that's coming around. And we've got the 10 of Cups, and we're working towards that 10 of Cups. So this top row is feeling like, even though we may have made mistakes, even though we may have jumped the gun, even though we may have been betrayed, if we stay on path and use our intuition, tap into our higher self, and continue weaving our own future, we end up with the 10 of Coins. Okay? Now, in the unseen, the row underneath here, again, unseen energy to me is things that are bubbling in the background, things that are being set in motion by the divine, things that haven't bubbled up to the surface yet. Remember, I always describe this as like a pot, and the top row is the boiling water on top of the pot that's already come to the surface, and we're actively working with this energy. But the lower row here is the bottom of the pot, where the bubbles are just starting to form, and they're not actually energy that we're working with yet, but we can see it coming. In some of the collective, this may be this lower row here of hidden energy, could be what you're working on that you're not sharing with other people because it's not ready yet. This could be parts of you that are churning and dealing with things underneath the surface that you're not privy to share with people yet. You've got to put yourself where you belong in the energy. Okay, I can read the cards, but I can't explain where you individually fit, because there could be hundreds of you watching. Okay, so this is basically the energy that's in the collective, but I don't know where you individually fit into it. Okay, so here in the unseen, we drop the Hangman. Look at that, right underneath, it's opposite the owl. We've got Hermit energy on top, which is Virgo, and we've got Hangman energy underneath, which is Pisces. They are direct opposites of each other, and in the reading here, they are in direct opposition to each other. So here in the scene energy, you have this feeling of you've consulted inward to gain an outer perspective. An outer perspective is on situations that are happening around you, the people who are involved, the options that you have, the provisions that you have, assets that you have, things that are Virgo energy. That's you're gaining perspective on that. Okay. Um, but bad energy with the Hangman, Pisces energy, the Master of Suspension. This is inner perspective. This says, oh, this is surrendering. Okay, you do surrender. You're surrendering to the night. These are both night animals. Okay, both of these are night animals. Along with the cat here at night too. And then it says sacrifice. Listen to the darkness. It says a quiet inner reflection. Um, Wait, renew, and tune in. Connect with your higher self. The key to this card is go within and open your wings. Okay? On top of that, we dropped the Ten of Wands. Oh, shoot, I forgot to look this up. I forgot to look up this story. But, oh, crap. I'm sorry, I'll be better prepared next time. Usually I lay these out and then I look up the stories, but I kind of forgot this one before I turned it on. So, all I can say is symbolically, there was death here. This is the Ten of Wands. This is the laying down of a burdensome cycle, okay? This is the final end to that burdensome cycle. I feel like this has to do with this Five of Cups up here, this regret of something that ended. Yeah, that you may, you the ending came because of something that you did, but it was not out of malice. It was out of not even ignorance. It was because ignorance has a connotation of you knew, but you did it anyways. You were dumb about it. But this kind of ignorance, it feels like you just really weren't aware of you weren't really aware of the whole thing, and that wasn't on you. It was just, you did something, you felt betrayed by someone, you made a judgment call, and now there's grief and regret about it. So here in the Hangman energy, you've got the Ten of Wands. I love that because it's like you're freeing yourself. You're freeing yourself of the burden of that cycle. None of that was your fault. Okay, this comes after the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. The 10 is finally putting that down and walking away from it. In this card, you can see that there was an ending. There's a skull on the ground. But out of that skull grew a whole new tree. 10 branches on it, very strong. Okay? I did vaguely read about it. These are hearts in the tree. And there's orchids down here, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the symbolism of orchids. But telling by the rest of this, you're going to be very much, you are going to release yourself because there's going to be some kind of inner, what's the word you told me? It goes along with forgiveness. There's going to be a forgiveness here and like an insight into the fact that you can release this now. Okay, the next card we got, it's really interesting too. We've got two cards on top and one on the bottom that are nighttime. They're in the dark. They're under the moon. These are things that we're dealing with intuitively in our hearts, in our psyche, at night, in our dreams, and things like that. But then there's one card up here and two down here that are full sunlight. This is what's active out in the open during the day, under the sun. You know what I mean? So the next card here we've got is the Two of Fossils. That's Two of Pentacles. We've got the monkey. And we've got a yin yang. So this is like balance. Okay. So a lot of times the Two of Pentacles is It's juggling. It's one or the other. Which one do I choose? This one's bigger, this one's that. You have to choose. It's always a choice. But lately, what I've been seeing with the Two of Pentacles is there is a third choice. You don't have to choose one pentacle over the other. You can choose the in between. You can choose to balance them both. Okay? This says this or that, decisions, skill, and cleverness. Okay, this is cooperative and grounded. It says evaluate and balance your needs versus desires. Okay, again, this is in the underground, under how do I put that? In the unseen, it's in the hidden energy. So, in the hidden energy, you are in a position of trying to decide, do I want to go this way or this way? Do I want to deal with this or this? Is this more lucrative or is this more stable? You don't have to choose one or the other. If you think you can make both work, then tap into that yin yang energy of balance. Balance the two together. Balance your needs versus your wants, okay? On top of that, you've got the Knight of Swords. Again, I'm sorry, I forgot to look up this legend, but this knight is coming in hot and fast. This is insight. This is the beginnings of something, whereas the pages are a message, right? They're a message of something that could be impending. It could be incoming. There's an offer here. That's the pages. But the knights come in to initiate. They come in to start. They come in to begin the foundation of something new. And the Knight of Swords is the fastest. This being a mental energy here in the hidden row, I feel like this is going to be like a spark of inspiration, a spark of knowledge, a spark of self-empowerment. I heard there's going to be an energy of being confident in what you know, what you think, what you feel, how you're processing this. This is confidence in what you know, I feel, okay? And what you know is how to balance the wants and the needs. You will have a beautiful middle ground here, okay? Let's see, the next one was the Two of Shells, Dolphin. So we've got two twos next to each other, and twos are always choices, always. The Two of Shells is choice to choose love. There may be, now they're trying to tell me there may be a choice between two possible lovers. That's why you have the Two of Pentacles here. Maybe one, you've got to weigh the two. But now they're showing me that there could be a choice between two things that you love. It could be a poor lover versus a lucrative job. Are you going to pick one or the other? And there's a call here that you need to balance the two. Pick both of them, but balance them. Okay. Here we've got the Two of Shells, Dolphin energy. It's a choice. This is a harmonious partnership, a friendship, a soulmate, a lover, a companionship. It's mutual support. And that's exactly going back to the start of this, coming back home to something that was supportive and nurturing and loving. Okay, and now here you are at the end, at the last, well, second to last card technically of the reading. Here in the under feelings is a kind of, I want this choice. I want to choose love because I want this companionship. I want this emotional prosperity. Again, I love this emotional prosperity. Whereas the Two of Coins with Monkey is considering just prosperity. The coins, the fossils, the pentacles, it's just material prosperity, material concerns. But here in the Two of Cups, if you choose the love, there will be both. It is emotional prosperity. Okay? It is a beginning romance. The key to this card is the choice of a new kindred connection. On top of that, we dropped the Magician. So this is beautiful energy. It's like you came through something. Your heart is telling you, I had enough of the heartbreak. I'm releasing myself from this cycle. I am going back to the start of where I felt supported and loved and nurtured, even if it's just you going back there in your own mind. You're going back to the before the heartbreak and what you found comforting, okay? And on top of that, we've got the magician. This is the fairy godmother from Cinderella, okay? She is actively alchemizing a miracle, okay? And that is on top of the two of shells here. Oh, look, the little mice. I love the little mice. Usually, to me, mice are a warning, but not in this case. In this case, the mice were helpers, so I don't feel like there's anything kind of like nibbling away at your resources here. There could be the fear of that, but it's unfounded in this case. These mice are helpers. Um, oh, I mean, it could be like advice to do so, like to save a little bit better, not to be wasteful, not to let things flitter away. Usually, when I see the mice, especially three, it could be the three blind mice too. That's a folk tale. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. They show me symbols, but then I have to find the words. So that the mice, to me, sometimes feels like there is a nibbling away at assets. And since we did have the Two of Pentacles here before that, there is a concern about the beginnings of new assets. So if you feel like you're a little bit unstable in the provisions department, they're advising to just save a little bit more, and don't let things nibble away at your resources. The example they always give me when they bring this up is like subscription services. Okay, you might have Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Paramount, Hulu, all these things, and you're not really getting everything you want out of one of them. You're getting little pieces of what you want out of many things, but you're paying for all of them. Okay, so they usually give me that as an example. You're spreading a little too thin, and if you consolidate things, you can then put some money aside just for a little bit of cushion. Okay, that's part of the alchemizing of this Two of Shells. Maybe once you open yourself up to this connection and this companionship, this new relationship, there will be an opportunity to actually squirrel some money away for the both of you. So the anchor card here we have, pulling this all together, is the Six of Fossils, the Six of Pentacles energy, gorilla energy. I love this card. This is, like I was saying before, the comfortable providing for a small group. This is only three people. Well, people. I will say people. There's only three people in this card. Mom, dad, one kid, or you, your partner, and a pet. But everybody is comfortable and happy. There's nothing. How did I put it? They put it before. Nobody is going without while anyone else has extra. Okay, everybody is covered, they're comfortable, provided for, and nobody is arguing, nobody is greedy, nobody is jealous. It's just a beautiful, balanced, um, cooperative kind of energy. So that's what's bringing this all together. The anchor card here is the Six of Fossils. You want a situation that goes back to when you were feeling provided for, um, comfort, support, love, and I'm telling you, it's with a lover, because with the Two of Cups here, right below the woman, right below the Wheel of Fortune, the spinning, you're spinning some kind of, I feel like this is for, okay, like I said, gender ain't shit, okay? Gender is specifically on this earth for our bodies. It's boobs and wieners. Gender ain't shit but boobs and wieners, okay? But when we're dealing with energy, like the yin yang symbol, there is dark and light, there's receptive and active, there's listening and speaking, there's destruction and creation. And the separation of those two is traditionally meant masculine and feminine, but it's not male or female, it's not boob or wiener, it's just energy. So even though this card is a woman card, this could be a masculine in that woman energy, okay? In that feminine energy. It is a person that you feel you were comfortable with because they had those traits for you. This was a loving, nurturing, supportive, intuitive, provided for connection that your heart is remembering. Okay, and that's what's anchoring it with the Six of Fossils is you remember that shit. But on top of it, we have the Hermit again. Okay, this is a Celtic legend called the Druid and the White Stag. The hermit represents solitude and leaving responsibilities behind to focus inward. In the Celtic myth, the elusive white stag encourages people to drop everything and pursue spirituality. So, this is introspection, withdrawal, prudence, insight, and meditation. Okay. So, like, again, you guys, again, with the hermit energy, didn't you have enough of going inward with the first time? But, this on top of the Six of Pentacles now feels like, okay, to me, that in this protected environment, you have the opportunity to be more introspective. You have the opportunity to be more spiritual, to follow your bliss, not bliss. Again, it's bringing me back to the song that opened this whole thing. I just want to be me. And for some of us who are on a spiritual path, the problems we face in waking life are very preventative sometimes to leading a spiritual path. It's one or the other for many of us. And a lot of times the trying to balance the two is a lifelong kind of thing here. So I feel like in this Six of Fossils, Gorilla, Six of Pentacles, equitable distribution of giving and receiving with this, I just feel like you're longing for a home base that is so supportive that you don't have to worry about being yourself. Okay, I just want to be me, and this is like the myth says, following that white stag. White white animals out in nature are quite spiritual and quite important. Last week we had two cards in the same reading dropping a white buffalo, and just last month there was a brand new white buffalo calf born, I believe in Yosemite. So, I mean, these symbols are really coming out lately in order to guide us to a more spiritual way of living. I also heard following your spiritual path, allowing your soul to be who you need to be, is the way this hermit is positioned. It's like going backwards towards the woman here, towards the fish, towards the anchor. It's like you will be able to come back around in this situation. And it's like, again, with the wheel, if you just let it spin, right? This is saying you need oh, how do I put this? You need to feel supported in a loving relationship in order to be in your spiritual self. But being in your spiritual self will actually lead you to the loving relationship. Okay, now they're telling me it's not just that, it will lead you to a loving relationship with yourself also, not just the person. But you can see how it goes around in like a circle, which to me is the spinning of the Wheel of Fortune, the divine timing. Okay, you're gonna come around in divine timing um to an opening to go back to a place where you feel emotionally fulfilled, so that when it comes around you can have this financial stability. Some of you may feel like one has to come before the other. I don't know, it's really kind of confusing sometimes, but that's the symbolism we're getting. There is the turning of the wheel, but again, the thing with the spider is that while the wheel is turning, you are the one weaving your new fate. Okay? Just because the wheel is turning doesn't mean you're not in control of where you end up. Because even though it's spinning, the spider is the one that's weaving. You are the spider on that wheel. Go with the flow of the wheel so that you can weave a new destiny. Okay? This hermit energy, yeah, this introspective kind of monk energy, you know, they're very alone in my principles kind of energy, the Virgos. Um, I really hope that this is resonating. I hope that the messages are finding you for your highest good. Not all messages will resonate for every person, so leave what doesn't resonate now, but keep it in mind because it might make sense at a later time. You are all at different points in your timelines. But if you are vibing with my content, please take a moment to leave a like, leave a comment, share my video, and subscribe. It really does help the algorithm get my content seen a bit more. Also, check the description box. You can find my email address. Email me and we can discuss a short one question personal read or a one question birth chart inquiry. I do both. Either one for about $15. Also, down in the description are links to my Cash App and my Venmo, and that would be I would really appreciate any kind of feedback you guys leave me. Thank you so much for sticking with me. We're going to go on to the Angels and Ancestors cards that we dropped now. So we dropped the Sage and Summer. So this could be as soon as summer that this winds. We are in summer, so the next 3 months is when this particular part of the wheel cycle is spinning. It says be devoted and committed. Sage energy, monk energy, hermit energy, all the same. Be devoted and committed. This is be willing to go the whole road and back again. Oh, what did I say about coming around to something, right? With the Wheel of Fortune, it's like you're spinning one way in order to get to spin the other way, right? So it says, be willing to go the whole road and back again. This will allow you to be the best you can possibly be. This is devotion is a powerful energy. Right now, angels and ancestors want you to acknowledge how committed you are to your growth. Your continued dedication to this aspect of your life has been recognized, and your understanding that you are not only a body but also a soul is all you need to continue growing and expanding. The energy of oneness is offering itself to you now, and it's important you take some time to integrate it all, and that so that you can be supported and guided by it. This is what the divine wants for you. Make a note of experiences or teachers making themselves known to you at this time, because you are going to share those teachings one day. Okay? And then we've got summer. The bee, one of my animal guides, the bee. Where are you? It says, bask in joy and light. Rise up, open your wings, and shine. And that's exactly what the bat was saying. Bat energy here. It said, Go within and open your wings. And then we've got B here. We've got B saying, rise up, open your wings, and shine. It says, bring your projects and plans into the light, into manifestation. This is the perfect opportunity for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Light has come to banish the darkness. Clarity is arriving too, allowing you to know exactly where you are and how you can move forward. Angels and ancestor guides are encouraging you to enjoy this moment and not rush forward, because this is a time for pleasure, enjoyment, and expansion. There's a great chance that you have extra energy, creativity, and inspiration at this time. Notice what is coming to you. It is an inspiration directly from the divine. When the summer card arrives in the future position of a spread, or it's the last card of the reading, it can also indicate that the coming summer will usher in important energies with regards to your question or intentions. Okay, what do they say here? The great chance. Let me see. Enjoy the moment and don't rush forward. Remember here in the top card, we were the top row, we were dealing with cards that cautioned against pulling the curtain too soon, right? Lifting the lid too soon because the wheel is still turning. And that's what this summer card just said. It said there, angels and ancestor guides are encouraging you to enjoy the moment and not rush forward, because there is time for pleasure, enjoyment, and expansion. Okay. The theme cards that we dropped are, we've got self-reliance, don't be afraid to fly solo. Remember, with the Hermit energy twice and the Hanged Man energy, there was a real feeling of, we're going to have to go through a little bit of this cycle alone, okay? But we're on the way to a Two of Cups and a Six of Pentacles. So we should be patient and not lift the lid too soon. We're just going to have to walk the rest of the way by ourselves. But with the Hermit here in the form of the White Stag card, while we're walking by ourselves, we are going to be concerned, or we should be concerned, or we should be allowing ourselves to be led by spirit, by getting in touch with our inner higher selves. Okay. Next, we have, again, High Priestess fell out, the High Priestess card. It says sacred knowledge, knowing the truth, the divine feminine. It says deep intuition, the guardian of the subconscious, spiritual wisdom, and high spiritual abilities. Okay. This is the receipts from the Akashic records. Next, we have Luna, the moon. This is unconscious. Now, remember, we had the moon come out in the owl card, in the cat card. Where's the other one? In the Five of Cups. And now we've got her proper here in Luna. This is unconscious, the unconscious, instincts, habits, cycles, and moods. This is also hidden influences. Remember, things that function underneath the sun, or in the shadow of the sun, and the mother. Okay, again, we've got woman that dropped here. We're mothering ourselves. We're looking for nurturing. We're looking for an unconditional supportive love. Okay, now we've got a warning card. This is martyrdom. Okay, don't be a martyr. Don't walk around, woe is me. Don't walk around, why does everything happen to me? Things like that. This is the feeling of, if I'm going down, I'm taking you down with me. It's also called the reverse self-burn. It's like what is the phrase? Mutually assured annihilation. Don't take, you know what I mean? Don't be a martyr. Also, we've got two earth energies here besides the two of fossils. We've got remember you are earth. This is an acorn that has sprouted. So I feel like whatever projects and you started in the past are starting to sprout. Nurture them, don't smother them, don't, a watched pot doesn't boil any faster. Don't crowd it, don't over, um, don't over fertilize it, don't, leave it, let it grow in its own natural way. Okay, I don't know who needed to hear that, but this says ground, build, heal, provide, give, and be steady. Okay, but don't overdo it, don't smother it. Okay. We also have mountain, where there's a major challenge to overcome. I mean, that could be for anybody at any point in the timeline. There's always going to be challenges. Okay. Um, the two angel number cards we've got is it's like the beginning and the end. It's 111, which is new beginnings. You got self-expression here. That could be the Knight of Swords. Get your bearings in this new cycle. Okay, 111. Get your bearings. And then we've got 1111, like the beginning and the ending. This is the energy gateway. You are connected. There's a chance will be presented to change. This is linked to a twin flame or soulmate connection. 1111. Yesterday we dropped the Raven from this deck, who was holding a trinket that was a watch, and the watch said 1111. This uh, this too, this reading also is making me feel like we kept ourselves out of a cycle trying to return back to a love relationship, okay? And now our hearts are calling us back to that. So this 1111 means, like, if we just trust the process. I know I hate that too. Trust the process bullshit always gets me, it rubs me the wrong way. But we've got the Sage here and Summer and the Hermit twice. We really have to just go within and what's the word they just told me? Discipline, self-discipline. Okay? Self-discipline. And weaving this new energy, what does it say? Create your path to create your fate. So yeah, while the wheel turns, keep weaving your destiny. But definitely walk a balance. Balance your needs and your wants when you're weaving this new destiny. And always keep your mind on where your heart calls home. Okay? Thanks everyone for sticking with me. I hope that resonated. Remember to check the description for my email and donation links. Leave a like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Thanks so much. Until I see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.